On the first and second Monday of every month, or Tuesday, I don't know, they keep switching it up, but August 28th, 7 p.m., there is a city council meeting, Pueblo City Council. And I just learned that the county actually has a budget twice the size of city council, and they have a lot more police. So I would assume actually the county probably has more power, since they got more monetary power and more, more soldiers. So this is a city council meeting. This is videotaped. This is put out online. And a lot of things had happened. The last videotape I haven't been able to get out. There's a problem with the videotape. So a lot of things had happened, and I guess I want to talk about it a little bit. You had, in the very beginning of every city council meeting, there's a public forum, and there was a gentleman who got up, and he was just sitting there talking about how he got a bunch of rabid dogs. A bunch of rabid dogs in the neighborhood, vicious dogs that the neighbors own, but the neighbors were letting them get out and run around the neighborhood, and they're sitting there barking and yelling at everybody. The man said he could bring 40 different residents into the city council to prove to him that he's got a point, but you're allowing these little vicious dogs to terrorize everybody. People are talking about moving. They're terrorizing the children. They're terrorizing other people's pets, other dogs. So here's my deal. I think that the dog should be responsible for its behavior. So if the dog bites or assaults somebody, that goes on the owner. That goes on the owner. That goes right on the owner. And you have a right to defend yourself. If a dog comes at you, if they're vicious, there's some dogs that bark, and it's a very nice bark. It's a, hey, hello, look at me. Come pet me. Come love me. Versus other dogs, it's like, I want to bite you. I want to kill you. I want bad things to happen to you. Now, it'd be really weird, right, if I stayed in my yard, and as you walk by, just sitting there being like, I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to bite you. I'm going to bite you. I'm going to rip your throat out. I bet you society wouldn't tolerate that shit. And yet, with dogs, that's exactly what we're doing. So, I guess when it comes to freedom of speech, are you allowed to do that? Yeah, you can be a fucking asshole. You can be a dickhead. The way I think of a guard dog is to go after somebody who's coming into your yard, who's breaking into your house. Not barking at any and everything that moves. I want people bike riding in my neighborhood. There's shitty dog there, 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 shitty dog over here. I was spraying some weed killer yesterday morning, and this little shitty dog just starts barking at me in the alley. And so it's like, first I was like, fuck you, dog, and then I heard shuffling in the neighbor's yard, so I'm like, okay, great, now they're going to be like, what's this about, huh? Trying to eavesdrop, and then people they give a shit about the fucking dog. Don't act like you give a fuck about animals while you're eating your damn hamburgers and bacon and whatnot. But they will, because Americans hate each other, I have to feel like I'm just spraying weeds in the back of my alley. I'm just spraying weeds behind my house. That's all I'm doing. Sorry this piece of shit dog is sitting there causing a goddamn shitstorm, and sorry that you empathize with a fucking dog than you do with your damn neighbor. So it sucks. I feel the need that I have to say, I gotta state my business, state my purpose, this is what I'm doing. So here I am, I'm spray painting the weeds in the alley. You don't want me to spray? Not spray paint, spray the weed killer. So you don't want me to kill the weeds, you don't want me to take care of the alley, you don't want me to walk on a sidewalk, you don't want me to bike ride, you don't want me to take pleasant evening walks with my family. No, people will sit there and let their dogs bark at children. And I just looked this shit up, and there's dog attacks. There was only just the last 2 days there's been dog attacks all across the United States. So this is an issue. If I stayed at the fence, society wouldn't tolerate that shit. In fact, I think that if I was to threaten anybody that would walk past me saying I'm going to bite them or saying I'm going to rip their throat out, I'm going to kill them, which is what a vicious dog is doing, they are threatening you really loudly. And even if it's free speech or allowed to, I keep an eye on them. Yeah, you're damn right. You mean me harm. You want me to do harm, and if you break out, I'm going to defend myself. Then I don't know what to do. Do I run away from a dog? I don't know. This is for my own person, but I guarantee you this. If a dog comes after my fucking kids, no fucking way. No fucking way. I can't walk with my kids down the street without some asshole's fucking vicious dog threatening my kid the entire length. I'm going to bite you. I'm going to rip out your throat. So I was very happy that that guy spoke up. He said he could have got 40 people up there because that's what they're doing. They are terrorizing the good people. The good people. The people that want to go bike riding. The people that get up and go for early morning walks. The people that want to go, you know, walk with their family. I see people in strollers. I see people walking their dogs. And they'll sit there and just bark at anything and everything. So if I don't have a dog, the landlord was going to charge me for an extra $200 for a deposit, right? A deposit he keeps, which is bullshit. That's bullshit. In order for me to have a dog to protect myself, you know, I got to pay $200 deposit. Why call it a deposit if you're just going to keep it? A non-refundable deposit is just give me $200 fucking dollars for the fuck of it. So while the entire fucking neighborhood got all these damn dogs barking at everybody, I'm not allowed to have... Okay, so that's a different issue, though. I don't mind dogs. I don't mind. If I had my dog, I want it to be respectful of the neighborhood. So if I recognize you, the neighbor, and my dog is just sitting there barking at you like you're a piece of shit criminal, like you're raping me, like you're breaking into my house, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I'm not going to just be like, well, fuck that person. I'm just going to sit here and watch. This is fun. Shitty dog being shitty, and then as soon as they speak up against the dog, hey, get your dog to stop barking at me. Hey, don't talk about my dog. Why are you talking about my dog like that, huh? You damn people. You know, the dogs can tell. They can tell that you're a shitty person. Oh, yeah, because them fucking threatening my neighbor, I'm sure that has nothing to do with their mood. Yeah, when it comes to a fight, who starts it is very much the important thing. Somebody walks by my house, not a problem. Somebody walks by my house and I'm out on the fucking fence saying I'm going to, you know, rip out their throats. I'm going to rip out your fucking throat. I'm going to bite your throat. I'm going to rip it out. You got a problem with that? You're goddamn right you'd have a problem with it. But I think society gives a fuck more about their goddamn fucking chihuahuas and their pit bulls than they do about their fucking neighbors, their human neighbors. And that's the problem with society. They don't respect human life. They don't respect anybody's life. So, you know, we all got a polite side. We all got an animal side to us. But to just train your dogs to be shitty to anybody and everybody all throughout the fucking day, it's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. You don't want, you know, I'm taking care of the alley. You want weeds all over the fucking place? Is that what that my neighbor is sitting there telling me? My neighbor who let that dog run loose? Don't you dare come in that fucking alley. But you know what is allowed in that alley 2 years ago? Ricky Muniz got shot and killed because he was trying to stop somebody from graffitiing his mother's house. That's okay. That's okay. All fucking day long, you could get shot for standing up to the fucking gangsters. That's okay. You get shot and murdered. That's okay. You just can't take care of the alley. You can't get rid of the weeds. You can't pick up the trash. Don't even fucking come in the alley. This is the shitty fucking dog alley, and how dare you. So I'm glad that the man spoke up. I'm glad that he said something. That was only one thing of many. He went on for about 5 minutes, and essentially it was taken care of right then and there. Steve Nowrocki, he went ahead and put Bob Schilling on it. He went ahead and got Sam Azad to get in his name, and then I'm not for sure if they, you know, delegated it to somebody else. But that was what was handled. This man made a very good case, made a very good presentation, and then City Council got right on it. So he was a success. That, you know, vicious, borderline rabid dogs escaping from people's yards is bullshit. It's bullshit. So I think that society should know that. They should just know that. If your dog breaks out, you know, in Colorado, if somebody breaks into your home and you think that they intend criminal harm to you, you're allowed to defend yourself. I don't see how that could be any different than if I'm walking peacefully by the sidewalk, dog breaks out and starts charging me. It's self-defense. It's self-defense, and, you know, as much as, you know, I don't want to hurt anybody, so I do wonder, like, do I run just so I don't hurt the dog, or do I gotta be afraid of the shitty assholes people, you know, first they're making their dogs into vicious little fucking heathens, which sucks because as soon as that dog bites a kid, it's going to be put down, rightfully so. And that sucks for the dog because it wasn't their fault, but their owners raised them to be a vicious fucking killer, and now it's doing its killing. It's got to be put down. No questions asked. You bit a kid? Fuck your dog. You bit a kid? You assaulted a kid. You went out and you bit a child. An American human, a citizen, one of your neighbors, doing to others. You don't give a fuck. People who raise these shitty dogs don't give a shit about other people. Because if, again, let's go back to me. If I'm raising a dog and I see that my neighbor's walking by, my dog immediately jumps on, you know, the person and starts barking at them. Hey, you know, Ruffles, chill out. No, that's your neighbor. You gotta respect the neighbor's dog. You gotta respect the neighbor. It's not a threat. They're not coming in. They're just fucking walking. If a child's walking by and my dog starts barking at them, hey, Ruffles. No, Ruffles, come over here. No, don't yell. Don't bark at children. Now, anything at night, during the dark, I think that's fair game. During the dark, you know, what goes bump in the night, who knows? They could be barking at nothing, but it could also be a deterrent. We're trying to sleep here, so I don't know. I'm mixed on that because a dog that's barking all night, you're not going to be able to get any sleep. But if there's, you know, there's this one dog that's actually behind me that I don't mind it. I don't mind it so much because I think there are like little things, people driving by real fast, you know, on their bikes, or there's a skunk, so maybe some other animals and rodents or whatever. So there's always things shuffling. So I don't mind the dog that's right behind me. It barks all night, but not all night. So it barks like every once in a while all throughout the night. All the time. I wouldn't be able to stand it. I wouldn't be able to stand it. So I think it's obvious. Anybody who understands the golden rule, if I had a big party and it was a bunch of guys and we're all getting drunk and we're being loud at 4 in the morning, the cops would shut me down. If I'm threatening people as they, you know, just want to walk through the neighborhood, and this is, you know, these are dogs that are busting out of the yard. So imagine if I'm not just staying in my yard, threatening you, threatening your family, threatening your pets. Then I step outside. Now I'm out in the middle of the street. Now I'm on the sidewalk confronting you. Right? Get away. Get out of here. I don't like you. When I bark at you, you run away. You don't no, get the fuck out of here. So it's just like an asshole, right? They start the fucking fight, and then if you say, hey, what the fuck? Because that's fucking psychotic. Everybody's just going to be threatening everybody anytime anybody walks by. I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you. That'd be nuts. That's ridiculous. So they also got Troy Davenport on this. I would like to see how Troy Davenport, how he actually fixed this. What is the policy of Pueblo when it comes to these wild, vicious dogs? Keep them fucking chained up. Keep them in your yard. The moment they get out, and then the moment that they make it look like they're going to attack a human, all bets are off. All bets are off. No fucking way. I respect humans over animals. You don't respect animals. Don't even fucking tell me you respect animals. The fact that you would sit there and, you know, terrorize and beat your damn dog to stay right there in the yard and bark at the fucking world, that's a reflection of your own character. You want to be a shitty asshole to anybody and everybody, and we're just supposed to fucking accept it. We're just supposed to tolerate it. And then if somebody says, hey, why are you being shitty to the whole neighborhood? What'd you say? Right? Then motherfuckers want to try to fight. Then motherfuckers want to pull out bats and shit, right? It's just how a person is. It's like racism, right? What, you don't... I don't like them blacks. Do you like them blacks? Yeah, I do. Well, then I don't like you. Okay, well, fucking, that was fun. Your stupid ass, ignorant fucking hatred just steamrolled right over me, so... Fucking great. Racism, so much fun. So that was a big deal. There was a Native American elder. He got up. He got $400 worth of T-shirts. He he's like a Native American elder. He always brings kids to these city council meeting. and the two kids that were in the middle, he had them introduce themselves, and they seemed like it was awkward at first, but then eventually they did introduce themselves, and he said, see, when you can introduce yourself in front of powerful politicians and city leaders, you know you're doing okay. Everybody clapped for him for that. That guy that talked about the rabid dogs escaping from the owner's yards, terrorizing the city of Pueblo, he got a standing ovation too. And then when Rocky said, told Sam and Troy and Schilling, basically he got everybody on this. So that man's problems is going to be solved. So there was firefighters from Chihuahua, Mexico. So apparently there's some firefighters from Chihuahua, Mexico who's in Pueblo giving us pointers, showing us this and that. We went down there and did something. So I don't know who's paying for this. Is this taxpayer, stuff? It was nice seeing that the firefighters were from another place. I didn't know who they were or what the training was or how valuable it actually turned out to be. But it was nice, I think it went on for a little too long. They just needed a picture and a congratulations, but they all introduced themselves. They said who they were, some of them in Spanish. It was also interesting, the 100% energy folks, the very teensiest, tiniest bit of chaos that came out of the council, that came out of the people's seats, made Steve Noraki nervous. Now, I like Steve Noraki's 2035 vision. By 2035, we're going to have clean energy. And it's probably because of these 100% energy folks. And I don't mind. I think I would actually agree with the 100% energy folks, most of their policies. But it's a cult. It's a cult. And, the two interactions that I've had with them was not a positive experience, at least with two of the individuals. So, that sucks to judge the entire group. So I won't do that. I'm not going to judge the entire group. But I will say that there was one lady that sat right next to me. And then I said, it's kind of weird how packed it is today. I wonder what's going on. And then she says, it's democracy. It's democracy. That's what's going on. It's democracy. Okay, I'm a regular fucking citizen at a city council meeting. I know what the fuck I'm doing. I know it's a democracy. I'm here, motherfucker, watching you. I'm here watching you, and I'm watching them. I'm watching all this. See how far you guys go. So the fact that she thought it was stupid, the fact that she didn't know what was up, and then I said, well, I usually come to city council meeting, and this is different because it's more packed. And why was it packed? Because you had the firefighters from Chihuahua. You had the no methadone people on Berkeley Avenue. You had that one guy about the dogs. You had that Native American elder. You also had Jenny Paulson. Her amendment was coming up. Jason Muniz, Charlotte Perez. There's a lot of things that was going on in that hall. But she knew everything. She knew everything. And then when I said, what's so special? She goes, oh, you'll see. You'll see. I never did see. I mean, Atencio did declare that we're going to have an off-ramp. We're breaking the contract with Black Hills by 2020. So in 2 years, we're breaking the contract with Black Hills. We're going to do our own independent energy thing. Atencio announced that and got a roaring standing ovation. The paper said that Chris Nickel got the standing ovation. Atencio got the ovation. Chris Nickel did too, but he basically had read a paragraph of what he believed, and it was all anti-Black Hills, but then he said that there were 2 Black Hills substations that we needed to turn into a museum and make money off of. Now, I'm not for sure. I don't think that one is directly, against the other. He's saying that we need to make it into a museum to turn into a commercial interest. I don't know. It was a complicated argument, but he was right. He was right. When Atencio said that he was going to pass a resolution to break the contract with Black Hills, the entire thing seemed to go crazy about that. I don't remember what Ed Brown said. Aguilera did say that there was no winning with Black Hills. I don't remember what Lori Winters said. I remember that everybody got real excited with Atencio, and then Lori Winters spoke, and then everybody shut up. The paper said that she was the only one who questioned it, and actually Bob Schilling was kissing Black Hills' ass, and his rebuttal speech was just basically, I don't know what you're going to do, they're such good... but apparently, I think he did eventually agree with the council, but I don't think it's in his heart. I think he is anti-solar, anti-wind power, pro-coal power. He wants the dirty power. He prefers dirty power over clean power. And though I will give him this too, Bob Schilling had started him and Atencio was going to do some sort of council for clean energy. Atencio said, God, I've been waiting forever for you to say something like that. So Atencio seems like he's 100% clean energy. Nickel, he read a letter. He read a letter that he said he sent to council, and then he wanted to read it out loud. So I think he wanted permission from Noel Rocky. The problem I got with Chris Nickel, and it's not a big one, but he supports the Strong Mayor Ballot Initiative. And then Chris Nickel, the very first thing he did when he was on city council was nominate Steve Nolraki as the president of the city council. He's the first sycophant. He was the biggest kiss ass. And so when he reads his letter to the city council, I think it's just like when citizens read or say something to the council. He was nervous. And so they sit up on high. They do their judgy fucking faces. Lori Winter can't. She hates me for some reason because I exist. And I don't, what the fuck? Just because she's the hypocrite, she tells everybody else that their yards are all shitty when it was her own yards that were shitty. So, set the example, Lori Winter. Clean up your own yards, and then, everybody else will clean up their yards. Set the example. You want to wag your finger and tell everybody else that they're not doing good. Meanwhile, the rental, the tenants. So you're sucking, your landlord. You're sucking the renters dry. You don't give a fuck about the renters. So, yeah, I think she is a tyrant, and there's good ideas that come from her, but she's never been decent or kind, and so I will not trust Lori Winter for anything. She's a Nazi. She was one to tax the cars in people's yards. In Bakassi, in the Nigerian peninsula, in between Nigeria and Cameroon on the island of Bakassi, the Nigerians were supposed to leave because Cameroon said that they controlled the island-rich country, or island of Bakassi, which is right in the armpit of Africa. Right? Africa's like this. It's right there in the armpit. They said, we're going to give you 3 days to pay this tax, a boat tax, because everybody were fishermen, and if you were a fisherman, you owned a boat, and they were taxing your boats. For every engine, for every boat engine here, we're taxing you. You better have your money come 3 days. 3 days they didn't have their money, so they just massacred. They just fucking killed everybody. Like Fort Pueblo massacre. When the Native Americans killed all the Native Mexicans, actually. But a Fort Pueblo massacre. Killed everybody. Massacred everybody. Everybody died. So that's not good. Right? So, Aguilera was against Black Hills. Atencio's against Black Hills. Chris Nichols against Black Hills. Apparently, Lori Winter questioned whether we should cut the contract. And then Schilling, he was pro-Black Hills. He's like what's that guy on the Young Turks? That fucker. That he was all about Hillary, how Hillary was great. He's a fucking right-wing conservative. But ultimately, he said, yeah, I'm voting for Bernie. So his heart was all about Hillary Clinton. But ultimately, he said, okay, I'll go with the crowd. I'll choose Bernie. So it's weird. It's fucking weird, man. Ben Mankiewicz. So, yeah, Bob Schilling is the Ben Mankiewicz of Pueblo City Council. So, let's see, is there anything else? I noticed, too, yeah, when Atencio announces that we're going to get out of the Black Hills contract. When Atencio announces, this is first a public forum. There's 5 or 6 public members that got up, and then there was a city council forum. Atencio's got the microphone first, and then it goes down the line. Atencio says that he supports a resolution which breaks the contract with, I think that's probably might have been the pinnacle of his life. I mean, he's a politician. They want to be loved by everybody. And here he says, I'm going to break this contract with Black Hills. And then 100% energy. That one asshole, she thought I was fucking stupid. And then when I asked her what was going on, she didn't answer the question, and then she left. Oh, excuse me, I'm actually smarter than you. You're the dumbass, and you're an asshole. So, I just don't like how people, first they assume that you don't know shit when they find out you do know shit. Why would she assume that? I'm at a city council meeting. And then to assume that everybody was there for her. Everybody wasn't there for the 100% energy. Some people were there for the methadone thing. That got most traction on Facebook. Only a couple people comment on any of this stuff. But no methadone on Berkeley Avenue. That's what some of the sit-ins were saying. No methadone on Berkeley Avenue. So there's going to be a methadone clinic, and they just, they think it's going to bring a bunch of druggies around them. So they're just against it. Put it into some fucking poor neighborhood. Don't put it in Berkeley Avenue. So a bunch of NIMBYs. They don't believe in compassion or love. If they see a person that's, doing heroin, they want them to get their ass kicked. They want the judicial system to pay for their lives forever. They want them to be on free welfare, so we're paying for their food, clothing, electricity, every bit of it. So that Mr., I hate rabid dogs, I'm happy about that because that will set the policy how Troy Davenport deals with this. I hope Troy Davenport has a good sense of morality, has a good sense of justice. He seemed like he didn't even want, I don't know if because I'm taller than him, but that's no reason to be afraid of me. I've been going to these city council meetings. I've been behaving. I've been sitting politely. There's no fucking reason for them to assume anything about me, but if they just want to pick on people because they don't believe in right and wrong, they're just a bunch of fascist fucking bullies, just a bunch of fascist thugs, then maybe that's the opposite direction. But I would like to know if he believes in the golden rule. I'd like to know if he believes in justice. So when he goes to the neighborhood and he sees that these vicious dogs are going around terrorizing everybody, is he going to tell the fucking owners, you need to put your damn dogs up? You want them to be fucking vicious? Well, make sure they stay in their fucking yards, because the moment they break out of the yards, maybe dictate policy. Let's say what the policy actually is. That makes sense to me. I'm walking down the sidewalk, dog breaks out. I was bike riding, and these dogs busted out, and they started, trying to bite my ankles. Well, I'm bike riding, and they're running out of the yard. They're running out of the fucking yard. And I don't know if this was just a fluke, or if this is just how they fucking operate. But if that's how they operate, they're letting their vicious dogs terrorize the neighborhood. And I bet you if they did hurt, somebody did hurt them dogs, that owner would be like, what the hell you doing hurting my dog? Here's what happens. You have a kid that walks by a house with vicious dogs come out and they bite the kid. The person, the father, the mother, the aunt, the uncle, anybody in the neighborhood, any neighbor, any kind person who witnessed it, who watched it. Innocent person walking by, vicious thug, fascist, vicious, violent, rabid, mean motherfucker comes out and starts biting on you, dog or human, don't even fucking matter. Do unto others as you had them do unto you. I don't go around threatening people and trying to hurt dogs. Why would they do that to me? But if they bite a child, they bite a human, then that human has a right to beat the shit out of them until they stop biting. So maybe just hit them to stop the altercation, or punk them. I'm sorry. Humans are more important than animals. The people that own these fucking dogs don't believe that. They don't have any respect for human life. That's why they only let Ricky Muniz get shot in the alley. They don't want Ricky Muniz spraying weed killer. No fucking way. That's a crime. Spraying weed killer, taking care of the alley, that's a fucking crime. Graffiti's a crime too. But if you go out there like a dog, right, saying, hey, get the hell out of here, stop spray painting us, then you get gunned down and you get fucking shot. We should not defend violent fucking thuggery. We should not defend violent fascism. We shouldn't do it at all. I think that if that child gets hit or bit, or anybody gets hit or bit by a dog, that it's okay to subdue the dog. However it does. However whatever means it takes. You're gonna, what, make me sit here and just let this fucking dog bite at me because you raised it to be an asshole because you're a fucking piece of shit asshole yourself? Fuck that. Fuck that. Those owners of those dogs don't give a shit about anybody else, and when they do bust out, those owners should be the ones that go to fucking jail. They're the ones that should go to jail. They're the ones that raised the dog. They're the ones that didn't properly secure them. So I'm glad this man spoke up. Why should the whole neighborhood be terrorized by some piece of shit that just wants to terrorize? And they're terrorizing good people. They're terrorizing good people. I'd say a break-in happens maybe, once every 3 months maybe? Maybe once a year. I've never witnessed or seen any break-ins at all. What I have seen every fucking day is dogs terrorizing the shit out of everybody that walks by. There's a human, I'm going to terrorize the shit out of. I was pulling weeds up. I mean, you're against pulling weeds, you're against evening strolls with the family? Fuck you. So, yeah, in Norwalkie, he also cut a minister off, like, really cut. It was 5 minutes. Sorry, minister. But he was, like, getting emotional and shit, so I don't know why he cut him off like that. But that's, I think that's about it. The tiniest bit of chaos made Norwalkie nervous. So the minister was prepared. He read his statement, and then as soon as 5 minutes cut, he was like, "Your time's up." And then he goes, "I'm sorry, I had to." You're not sorry. He was happy to cut that minister off. So there's one more thing actually I want to mention. When Nickel, he said that he was against the contract. He wanted to turn the substations into museums. He says that we didn't want any more Black Hills money in our community ever again. Norwalkie said, "Well, what about the working people?" Well, Nickel wasn't actually talking about the working people. He was talking about the company, the corporation, and about us as customers. Of course, we want jobs. So it seems to be that Norwalkie cuts off the minister who's sitting there, you know, going on and on about getting out of this Black Hills contract. He chastised the 100% Energy Group as soon as they all cheered for Atencio, saying, you know, there needs to be order in the court. And then there was another person that had said something, and there was more cheering. I want to say, I don't know, somebody else said something, but then again, Norwalkie chastised the 100% Energy crowd, right? That one lady who sat next to me thought I was real stupid. She got chastised by Norwalkie. "All right, you little child, you need to behave, you little child." Did she say a word? I think sometimes the problem with these stuck-up assholes is that you actually acknowledge them as people. You actually acknowledge them as people. And they don't acknowledge you as people. They think they're better than you. Bourgeoisie, snowflake, assholes. And that sucks, right? You see, you know, a group and you're like, "Oh, that'd be a cool group," and then and they probably, hell, the one that, you know, is shitty to you, nobody ever gets along with them. It doesn't, it doesn't matter, but still, why be, you know, shitty to people when you don't have to be? So it just seems to me with the way that he cut off that minister, with the way he came back with Chris Nichols saying that we needed the money for the workers, which is not at all what he was talking about, how he chastised 100% Energy. You know, before, he also is grooming Bob Schilling to be the head chair. Bob Schilling is involved with all the mechanisms of government. So it seems like Norwalkie and Bob Schilling are, you know, they work in tandem. And Bob Schilling is clear Black Hills shill. My guess is Steve Norwalkie was forced into voting for the 2035 because it doesn't seem like it's in his heart. What's in his heart is to defend Black Hills Corporation. That was my impression. So yeah, that was a city council meeting, August 28th, 2017.